The key to any successful business is earning profit. Real money. Money you can put in your back pocket. I've seen so many instances where beginners are making sales but not making any money. If you're in this situation or you don't understand the difference between revenue and profit, or you have no clue what I'm talking about, then make sure you watch this video, because in this video, I'm going to show you how you can avoid making this costly mistake by going over exactly how to make sure the product you decide to sell will actually make you money. But first, my name is Crescent, and if this is our first time meeting, welcome to my channel. My passion is sharing tips and strategies on how you can create a successful Amazon FBA private label business. So if you enjoy videos like this, or especially if you've been around my channel, consider subscribing. All right, let's get started. A lot of beginner Amazon entrepreneurs lose sight of the fact that the act of selling products isn't the goal. The goal is to make money. Selling products is the means. I know that sounds obvious, but I've seen too many beginners lose sight of this, and unfortunately, it's only after they've invested thousands of dollars that they realize they're not making any money selling their product. The key to avoid making the same mistake is knowing your numbers. Specifically, you need to know how many units you can expect to sell each month, as well as precisely what your profit margin is per unit, since these two figures are directly tied to each other. Fortunately, this isn't difficult to do. A typical starting point for your target sales velocity is around 250 to 300 units per month. This figure is derived from a target monthly profit of $3,000 and a profit margin per unit of $10. So if you divide $3,000 by $10, you get 300, which means to make $3,000 per month, you need to sell 300 units per month. So how do you make sure you can actually hit those numbers? Well, after you've analyzed the niche to make sure it passes all the product research criteria, you need to check if the profit margin is realistic. Now, if you're not sure what the product research criteria I'm talking about is, I have a video on this which I'll link to here, as well as in the video description below. All right, if you jump onto Amazon and take a look at this rib rack niche, we can pull up the Jungle Scout Chrome extension. And if you don't know what the Chrome extension is, it's such a powerful tool because it pulls up all the information related to this niche so we can analyze it quickly and efficiently. And it pulls up the price, monthly sales, revenue, and the reviews. And if you're interested in trying out this Chrome extension, I'll leave a link in the video description below, along with a coupon, so you can save some money should you decide to purchase it. Now, the column we're actually interested in this video is this monthly sales column. Now, the target we're looking for is 250 to 300 units and higher. And as you can see, if you scan this by eye, that the top 7 or 8 listings meet that requirement, but the sales falls after around the 7th or 8th listing here, okay? But that doesn't mean that this niche isn't viable. And this is where we're gonna have to do a little more research and see what the actual profit margin is to see if a slightly lower sales velocity can still meet our target profit, okay? Now, I know a lot of you are seeing this right now and it has a opportunity score of 7 with high demand and low competition, and you're thinking this is such a great niche, and it is. It's just on the borderline in my opinion. And because I'm actually showing you guys in this video, I don't recommend actually doing this because a whole bunch of people are now exposed to this niche. So do it at your own risk, okay? Now, one thing I want to point out is if you look at the monthly sales, I always recommend not looking at these values up here because these are averages. So you can see the average sales here says 544, but it doesn't reflect what the actual sales velocity is that you're after. Because like I said, the top 7 or 8 meet the 250 to 300 requirement. But if you scan all of them by eye, in my opinion, the average is closer to around 200, 150 to 200, because these listings down here have less sales. It's these two listings here, the really high ones, the outliers that tend to throw off the average, okay? So for example, if I were to actually remove this one here and this one here, you can see the average almost dropped in half, okay? So you gotta be careful there. Don't go by the averages, and definitely don't go by just the opportunity score. Always manually analyze the data, okay? So let's refresh this to pull up the data again. So now what we want to do is jump onto Alibaba and see what the actual profit margin is to see if we can actually hit the $3,000 profit per month that we're after. So if we go to Alibaba and do a search for rib rack, we can kind of scan through these listings here and see what the average price is for one of these rib racks, okay? So let's take a look here, and we can see they're around $2.50 there, 250. It's a higher end one, $2, $2 in the middle there. What else here? It's about $2, $2.50. So an average is around $2, right? So that's a good number to use as an estimate. Now, if we go over to the Amazon FBA calculator, we can figure out exactly what the Amazon fees are and figure out what our profit margin is. Now, to use the FBA calculator, you need to have an Amazon seller account, and just search in Google for FBA calculator to get to this page, and also leave a link to it in the video description below. Now, to use this, we need to enter the ASIN of an example product. So let's go back to the rib rack niche, and let's use one of the higher end ones here as an example. So for example, this one by Sorbus, and if we click on it, you can see they're selling it for $22.99. And if we grab the ASIN, which is up in the URL right here, and it always starts with B0, go back to the calculator, paste it here, and hit search. You can see that it pulled up the information here. And it's important because we need the size and weight to calculate the actual FBA fees, okay? So the item price that they're selling it for is $22.99. And the cost of the product we determined on Alibaba was $2. And a good way to estimate what the shipping fees are is to just to double that. So we'll estimate the total unit cost, the total landed unit cost is $4. And we'll hit calculate. And we can see that the net profit is $9.71. And so that's minus the referral fee here, which is $3.45. That's usually 15% of your sale price, or $1, whichever is higher. And then the Amazon fulfillment fee here, which is the pick and pack fee, and that's based on the size and weight of the product. You can see it's $5.83 here. So now we know we had a profit margin target of $10 per unit, and we're actually close at $9.71 if we can get the unit cost at $4 and we sell it at $22.99. Now remember, you always want to add value. So if we bundle this with something, fixed a known problem, or added a feature of some kind, we can always increase the price, and by doing so, increasing the profit margin. But remember, we still need to hit a sales velocity of 250 to 300 units per month. And if we go back to the niche, we're not. In my estimation, it's closer to 150 to 200. So with a sales velocity of around 150 to 200 units per month, we need to increase the profit margin in order to hit our $3,000 profit target that we're after. So how can we increase the profit margin? So one easy way is to bundle. So if we take a look at what the existing listings are doing, you can see most of these aren't bundling them with anything except for this one here that has a basting brush. Okay, so let's use that as an example. If we go over to Alibaba and now do a search for basting brush, we can get an estimate of what it would cost to bundle this with the rib rack. Okay, so you can see that these are, let's take a middle price here around 50 cents. 50 cents is on the high end on that one. So what do we have here? 25 cents, 31 cents, 40. Okay, so I'm just gonna say on the high end, 50 cents for a basting brush. And again, if we double that to get a shipping cost, the total will be $1. And what we can also do here is actually go back to Amazon and see how much the basting brushes are selling alone. So if we do basting brush, and let's take a look. They're selling for $7, $9, $10. Okay, they're around $7 and up, $7 to $10. So if we go back to FBA calculator, we can add the cost of the basting brush here. So it's an extra $1. And then since we know that the brush alone sells for $7 to $10, we can probably bundle it with the rib rack for, let's say, $3, right? So the buyer's still getting good value for that. So we add $3 to this and make it $25.99. This will give us a good estimate of what our new profit margin is. So it went up from $9.71 to $11.26. Okay, so that's how you can add value to increase the profit margin. But again, with the lower sales velocity, even though we have a higher profit margin here, it's still not enough to hit the $3,000 profit per month. Now, if we do some quick math, if the profit margin is $11.26, and we multiply that by the high end of 200 units per month, and we can see that the actual profit margin that we can expect to make is only $2,252. So slightly short of the $3,000 that we're after. So if you're content with making this profit, then you can move forward with this product. Otherwise, you need to add more value to increase the price, or look for a niche that has higher sales velocity. So I hope you can see how the profit margin and the sales velocity are tied together. So on the opposite end, if the average monthly sales velocity here was closer to what it says here, 500 or 600 units per month. So instead of having to hit a target of $10 profit per unit, we actually can get away with only $5 profit per unit, because $5 times 600 units will meet the $3,000 profit that we're after. Right? So I hope that makes sense. Now this also ties in with the minimum price range that you want to find products in. So typically you want to find products that are $15 and higher. But again, now that you understand how the profit margin and the sales velocity are tied together, if the price is slightly below $15, but the other product research criteria are met, you can take this extra step of figuring out what the actual profit margin is to see if the niche is still viable. So for example, if we take a look at this fidget spinner niche and we pull up the Jungle Scout Chrome extension, we can see that the price here is actually on the borderline. It's below $15, but it's close, right? $11.99, $13.99, $14.99. So if, for example, that the monthly sales velocity meets our requirements, in this case, 250 to 300 units per month, and it definitely does, we can do a little more research and figure out what the profit margin is. And if we can still hit our goal, then this niche is still viable, right? So if we go over to Alibaba and do a search for fidget spinner and take a look at what the average price is for one of these. So like this is 50 cents here. Okay, 50 cents. 20 cents. Let's just say again 50 cents for one of these fidget spinners, and then we'll double that for shipping. And if we go over to FBA Calculator, we can click on try another product, and we'll grab the ASIN of one of these fidget spinners, like this one here, and paste that there. We can see that that one was selling for let's see here, $11.99, and the cost of the product is $1. We hit calculate. We can see that the profit margin is $6. So we know that in order to hit the $3,000 profit target that we're after, we need to sell around 500 units per month. So if we go over to the fidget spinner niche, if we take a look, it's pretty close, right? These top listings here, the top 10, are doing around 500 units per month, right? But again, this is a bad niche because it's super competitive. So this is just an example to show you that if you figure out what the profit margins are, it can give you a value for what you can aim for the sales velocity, so that these numbers aren't actually fixed in stone. So if you do a little more research, you can find viable products that can meet your product research criteria. And lastly, I always recommend avoiding products with very slim margins. And this is because it doesn't leave you any room for an advertising or PPC budget, and to absorb any fluctuations in your unit costs as far as manufacturing, shipping, or the new China tariffs. You don't have any room to absorb any of these unforeseen costs. Okay, I hope you understand the importance of calculating these figures ahead of time and how the profit margin ties in directly with the monthly sales velocity target, and that these numbers aren't specifically set in stone. And if you do this properly, you can avoid making the same mistake a lot of beginner entrepreneurs make. All right, thanks for watching. If you found value in this video, hit that like button and leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to subscribe. And to make sure you never miss a video, be sure to click that bell icon to turn on notifications. There's also a link in the video description below to our community forums, which you should totally join. And if you're looking for more tips and strategy videos, click or tap over here. And as always, thanks for watching.